All right, welcome to workflow mapping. This is what I consider the secret sauce to sales leverage. Workflow mapping, well, quantitative workflow mapping to be specific, is where I've made a ton of money over the last 2 decades. It is where I have broken sales records at multiple companies. It is where I have been able to displace competition in, comparatively speaking, like I've had multiple opportunities where the competitive incumbent was in place for like over a decade. The customer was using a competitive solution for over a decade. I was able to go into that account and show them a stronger business case where they actually paid more money for my solution. They actually paid thousands, tens of thousands more per month for my solution up front, but the net positive gains on the back end and the gains that were related to the bottom line far exceeded the competition. And I did this in under 12 months in multiple cases, right? So remember, think about this case. You go into an account, they've been with a competitive vendor for over a decade. No one at your company, think about it, like the people at your company have tried to go in there and displace them. They tried to go in there and convert. They tried to go and win them back, but they couldn't do it. I use this model to go in and unhook competition and win them back to my company in less than 12 months. Think about it. You're with competition for 10 years and I win you back in under a year. Something, there's a formula that allows you to do that. Okay. If you remember in an earlier video, I said every company, I don't care if they're for profit, nonprofit, every company has processes or what I'll call a workflow, right? Different companies call them different things, but it's just a process, right? There are so many hidden costs buried within broken workflows. There truly are. And so if you want to know a formula for being able to quantify and measure process, this is it. I'm going to give you the secret. You take duration, so how long a process step takes, right? You want to map out the full process. This one happens to have, what, 10 or 11, 10 steps. Okay, 10-step process in their manufacturing, their product design, manufacturing, go-to-market process. So there's 10 steps that we documented, okay? So the formula, and this is in general, right? There could be some nuance to it, but in general, if you want a baseline formula that is proven over 2 decades across dozens of industries, software, product, human capital, services, this formula has been used and I've had great success. So it's duration times frequency times resource cost times the number of people. Sounds pretty simple, right? But you got to do it at every level. So here at the opportunity contract order entry level, how long does it take? How often do they do this step in the process? And then how many people do it and what's their average salary, right? Or their average hourly cost. I like to do hourly, right? So that's, you got to have a consistent unit of measure. But the good thing is the formula is already built in. You don't have to think about it. All you got to do is plug this stuff in, guys. So if I'm capturing a step in the process, here it is, right? So this is the process. This is the step name. The full workflow is, whatever it's called, right? I don't think I named it here, but it's a full manufacturing workflow. And so you can add as many steps as you want. I just happen to have 11, but each stage has a cost associated with it. And you want to capture all of this because again, this is going to give you ammo. This is going to give you leverage and give you a way to offer yourself something to compare your solution to. Like, how can you improve? And I'm going to show you in the comparative analysis after this, but I wanted to show you kind of the meat and potatoes behind all this. So let's say they do this 36 times per year. Let's say they do this 50 times per year. See the number changes, right? It's already built in. You don't have to think about it. right? How many hours does it take? And if it's not full hours, is it minutes? Whatever. I've done this for seconds. Like, it doesn't matter. You want to capture this at a granular level because it helps to drive your bigger business case. The hourly cost of people doing it. So whatever their title is, right? I think it was like some kind of engineer, quality assurance manager. You can go to Glassdoor, Indeed, whatever. You can Google this stuff, right? You can find out what the annual salaries are for people in your region to do that role in that region. What's their average annual salary? And you can break it down by months, hours, whatever. That's how you figure that out. Just do a little bit of work. Okay. It's not that hard. Okay. So, but again, the formulas are already here. So it's frequency per year, the number of people, what each one gets paid, and how long it takes. That's a $360,000 process right there, right? And again, I'm looking at how many times, again, per year, because we want annual costs. We want to make it simple. So everything needs to map to annual costs. So they're doing the steps 60 times per year, 40 hours each time, 2 people, $75. Same thing for each and every step, right? Requirements and engineering release. They do that 4 times a year. Takes them about 160 hours. You can, days, if it's 3 days, I think this was based on, 4 days, 8-hour days or whatever, something like that. No, it was 4 weeks or something like that, like 40-hour weeks 4 times. So that's, again, just do the math. It's not that hard. The number of people executing the process, the hourly cost of those people doing it, 163,200. This is annually. Look at each step. That's what it costs them. This is how you measure process cost. This is how you measure workflow cost. But look at the aggregate. This is what it's costing them to do the process. Their overall expense may be 10 times this amount, but you want to look at the workflow cost, the process, the cost associated with workflow, because that's what you're solving for. If you're selling a software product or service that helps reduce time, reduce effort, improve efficiency, if anyone says to you, I want to improve efficiency, that is a key indicator that you have to measure the cost associated with time. Because efficiency is basically the reduction of effort and resource, the reduction or elimination of effort or resource. So again, think about the outcomes that the customer is looking to achieve. Oftentimes, the solutions that we sell help accelerate the time to that outcome. If you can shorten their time from 5 days to a day, from 3 months to a month, from 6 months to 3 months, whatever it is, whatever your solution or product helps reduce in general a customer's pathway or time to value, that's why you want to measure time. It's very, very important. Okay. Once you're done, you hit save and exit, save and quit, and then you're done. Right. And so I'll go back here. I built in some static benchmark percentages just to show you, like, you can model this out just to give yourself a feel, like, all right, on average, what is your company, the company you work for, whatever you're selling, what's the average? I always use like a very conservative percentage. So if their cost is 360 per year, a 15% efficiency gain would result in $54,000 annual savings. Same thing here in this area. I just did a static 15% just to show you the difference. Because again, it's all about delta. It's what's the delta of net positive gain between current state and future state. And then in the workflow comparison, we'll dig a little bit deeper into that. But this is kind of just to get you started. But I'm telling you now, if you want to show tremendous value to your customer, show them what they can't see on their own. Help them measure and quantify process cost. Help them measure and quantify the cost of time, what they're doing day to day. And this is where you can find opportunities to optimize, right? Even if it's 3 out of these 8, that's 3 areas to optimize their business, 3 areas to optimize their workflows, or 3 out of the 10, right? That's 3 additional areas to optimize, right? It's not saying that you're going to impact all of these. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but you never know until you start to capture and quantify that insight. capture and quantify workflow insight, you will open up an entirely different consulting, advisory, and sales opportunities. I guarantee you it works. I've done it multiple times, and it will absolutely separate you from the competition because they're not doing it. Go back and watch this video again if you need to, because this right here is what's going to separate you from the competition. It's going to separate you from your peers. It's going to take you from being an average seller to an elite consultant. You have to show your customer what they can't see on their own. See you in the next video.